As I always like to do, and as seems particularly appropriate today, let's start with a prayer. Could somebody maybe dim the lights just a little bit in the back? As Spirit would have it, I was given this title a month or so ago, and it's the most appropriate thing that I could really talk about today, considering the things that have happened. So here we go. Let's connect. Beloved Creator of all that is, we love you. And we are so grateful for this gift of life, grateful for this time together. And we know that we are loved. And we know that in spite of outer circumstances, that you, Divine Spirit, have a way of turning all negatives to positives. We call on the presence of those ascended masters of 100% white light, those angelic beings that would work with us here so that each and every one receives the message that is the most powerful for them in this time, the most appropriate, the most healing, the most calming and soothing. We appreciate all those masters and include our beloved Jesus the Christ and Mother Mary, beloved Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, beloved Gabriel, Uriel, Aurora, beloved Kuan Yin, Gautama Buddha, beloved Melchizedek, and Metatron. All great beings of light, you are welcome here. As I call forth your presence here now to work in, through, and around us for the greater good of all concerned and for the greatest good for the world. And we accept this done in the full power of the Mother, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Everything is frequency. Everything around us. We attune to these healing frequencies because everything vibrates at a specific frequency, including you, including the coronavirus. We will explore the concept of using frequencies to heal, and then enter a meditative state to heal the world of the coronavirus. All of you that are here today are here on a divine mission. This is our time to be the ones who help the world, to step up and be the calm in the storm, and raise our frequencies so that others around us can serve by our example. Just our vibration alone will heal the world. But when we set our intent and we do this together as a group, the multiplicative effect is enormous. I am so thankful for those of you who showed up today, because we're here to do our work as light workers. Yes, can we heal the world? You bet. All who participate here will multiply the effect of our focused intention to eradicate this virus and the fear surrounding it. When disharmony occurs in our body or in the consciousness or in the mass consciousness, we're going to talk about how aligning with the Creator's norm produces the healing. And we're going to learn how to raise our own consciousness, the importance of keeping our consciousness raised during this time, to restore balance, ease, and wholeness, to come out of this worldwide challenge richer for it. And this, I have to talk about Nikola Tesla, because he's the man who said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So this, what I'm going to introduce to you today, is the most powerful healing technique that I have run into. It's quick, it's efficient, and it works. We're going to talk about it a little bit and give you some preview to the science and the meaning behind it, so that your left brain can get on board. What we're doing is not magic. It has a scientific basis. We're going to talk about frequency and vibration, just so that we understand the concepts a little bit. And then we're going to talk about frequency healing. Excuse me. We're going to talk a little bit about frequency of sound, frequency of color, frequency devices, and the frequency of numbers. And the numbers that we use with our consciousness. Because the most powerful thing that we always have is our consciousness. So what is vibration and frequency? We all know that you can feel somebody's vibration and that you either like it or you don't. But vibration really means just quickly moving back and forth. It can be a tremor, a tremble, a shaking, a shiver, a quiver, a quake, a shudder, a flutter, an oscillation, a fluctuation, a wave, or a ripple. Frequency is a constant rate of vibration. So it becomes in a way that we can measure vibration. It's usually measured in hertz or cycles per second. So when we start talking about vibration on a scientific event, we go to talk more about frequency, because it nails it down into something that's consistent. So you're really talking about the same thing, but frequency is more scientific. So all these frequencies, all these things of life, they appear pretty much in what is called a sine wave. Now, a sine wave is really a two-dimensional aspect of it. If you look at it in 3 dimensions, it looks like a spiral. The frequency of a sine wave, which is what you see before you, is a sine wave. You can see the period is where it goes and it starts to repeat itself. Okay, that is one period. And it's measured in time. The period is measured in time. The period is the amount of time it takes to complete one cycle of a wave. The frequency is the number of cycles per second. Or you take the period and just flip it upside down. That's really all there is to it. When we're talking about higher frequencies, then there are more waveforms per segment of time. Okay. When we talk about frequency and we talk about healing, there's some things that are very important concepts surrounding it to understand. One of them is resonance. Thank you. When we talk about resonance, we have a vibration that can be either mechanical or electrical, energetic, of a system that is caused by the vibration of the same frequency as the natural vibration of the system coming into it. Now, that's a lot of words for, could you have my chain of focus? A lot of words for two waveforms coming together and adding together in a certain way. Or just a wave coming at something that by virtue of its structure has a natural frequency. All right, your liver has a frequency, your body has a frequency, or it's a sum of very many frequencies. That's good. Now, these two tuning forks, you can't see those, can you? Oh, okay, now you can see it. These two tuning forks, for instance, are tuned to the same frequency. They have the same natural frequencies. And you may not be able to hear these so much, but if you tap one tuning fork and you set one with the natural frequency next to it, then the other one will begin to vibrate on its own. Okay, so that's how it resonates. This is an important concept for you to understand, so stay in there with me. All right, so here I have a little YouTube video that has 3 waveforms in it. You can see that there's a blue one, a red one, and a purple one. They're a little bit difficult to see, but as you watch them go together, the red ones and the blue ones are 2 different inputs. And added together, they come up with the purple one. So just watch it and see what happens. I'm going to explain it in more detail because I realize you can't watch this in too much detail, but let's look at what's happening here in this waveform. All right, so the resonance occurs when the addition of these 2 singles at the same frequency join up. They actually are added together and create a very high amplitude. And then cancellation occurs in the bottom when the 2 signals of the same frequency are 180 degrees out of phase. And so along the 0 line is the resultant of the bottom one. They cancel each other out. This will show you the concept of resonance in a more dramatic way. All right, these 2 tuning forks he's using here have the same natural frequency. So while he's vibrating the first one, the second one is taking the frequency, and you can see that it's causing the ball. This way you can see it visually without hearing it. Okay. So if you are on the left thinking, using projecting frequencies as in numbers, then your target, using your mind, is going to feel that frequency. So this is just a physical representation to help you see how these waves actually travel invisibly through time and space. Now let's talk about sound a little bit. One of the most powerful sound mechanisms that we can use are the solfeggio frequencies. I think a lot of you have heard about it because you hung around me some. But the solfeggio frequencies are the original sounds that we think came from the ancient Gregorian chants. Okay. And our church authorities said they were lost, and how they got lost probably is a whole nother topic. But these chants and their special tones were believed to impart tremendous spiritual blessings when sung in harmony during religious masses. These powerful tones have been rediscovered by Dr. Joseph Puleo as described in the book Healing Codes for the Biological Apocalypse. I think it's kind of ironic that what the title of his book is. I don't think we're at an apocalyptic stage, but we certainly are in one that's a challenge. So let's look at these notes. And the first note that we're going to talk about is ut, which is 396 hertz. And you can see how the sound is projected in the crystal water. Those of you who are familiar with Dr. Emoto's work know how this works. So this is the sound ut. It liberates guilt and fear. It clears the root chakra. It balances hands, wrists, legs, feet, base of the spine, adrenals, and the elimination system. It assists with healing of weight issues, sciatica, degenerative arthritis, knee problems, etc. Sound can do this. Of all the senses that we have, our ears give more neural pathways to our body than any other. Now we're going to talk about Ray. Ray's for 17 hertz. It undoes situations and facilitates change. Clears the sacral chakra, balances the kidneys, bladder, reproductive system, assists with the healing of stiff lower back, frigidity, impotence. I know a lot of you have some of these tuning forks, and I encourage you to use them more. Would you help me? I'm going to talk a bit about the me, or the 528 hertz. Now, this is the one that science has actually done tests in the research to show that it actually transforms the DNA. It clears the solar plexus, balances the stomach, pancreas, spleen, liver, gallbladder, adrenals, digestive system, assists with the healing of ulcers, diabetes, hypoglycemia, gallstones, digestive disorders. Then we want to talk about the Fa, or 639 hertz. This is the one we go to for helping us to connect with relationships in the heart chakra. Balances the heart, lungs, breast, thymus gland, circulatory system, respiratory system. Assists with healing of asthma, high blood pressure, heart disease, and lung disease. The next sound is the Sol, 741 hertz, which is associated with the throat chakra, our expression and solutions. Balances the throat, neck, and shoulders, thyroid, parathyroid, esophagus, larynx. Assists with the healings of thyroid problems, hearing problems, sore throat, stiff neck, and colds. You can see the beauty of the symmetry around these structures when the sound is absorbed by water. There are a lot of YouTube videos available online with sounds with the solfeggio frequency. So I suggest that that's something that you make use of while you have some extra time with your computers. La is the next one we're going to talk about. 852 hertz. For awakening our intuition, it's the brow chakra or the third eye. Balances head, ears, nose, eyes, mouth, brain, pituitary, pineal glands, hypothalamus, nervous system. Assists with healing of blindness, headaches, eye strain, blurred vision, nightmares, and sinuses. And these are just some of the major ones. The solfeggios are particularly effective in expanding our consciousness because the world has not had these frequencies. They've been hidden from us until recently. So bringing these back into the mass consciousness is a way also to expand our consciousness and get out of our limitations. Color. We all always think about color is one of the most healing modalities that we can use. And the simple act of resonance shows up in color as well. The color spectrum that you see is the one that resonates. For instance, an apple is usually red, So it is the red color of the spectrum that is resonating with the apple. And that's how resonance works that way. Light and color has frequencies. Well, the white light, using white light in a healing modality is one of the most powerful things you can ever do, because it has all the other colors in it. And very often I like to use liquid white light to just sometimes calm the body, to just run the liquid, do a liquid white light shower daily when you do your shower. Just imagine that it's liquid white light running on you. Some of these things that we can do are very easy, and you don't necessarily need tools to do them. So when we look at the frequency spectrum, it's very large. It goes to gamma rays and X-rays and ultraviolet, microwaves, radio waves, and so many things that we can't see. The frequency spectrum that is actually visible to us is very small. You can see how it's just a little itty-bitty segment in that whole range of frequencies. If we think about the colors, the chakra colors and frequencies are the colors of the rainbow, basically. And if you look at this little chart, it shows you how the lower frequencies are at the bottom. You know, as we live more from our upper chakras, it raises our frequencies. The first thing we want to do is get all our energy up to our heart chakra, and then on to the third eye and the crown. But the number of cycles then in the higher ones shows you that the frequency is higher because there's more of them. As the frequency goes up, the wavelength or the distance between them goes down. That's just to give you an idea of these, the white light and the colors from the sun are healing you all the time. And it's important to get out in the sun at least 20 minutes a day and not to be afraid of the sun either. But we can use these colors specifically for certain conditions. And green supports balance and harmony, love, communication, our social nature, which we are experiencing today. Nature, acceptance. The blue is indigo, creates calmness. Blue is my favorite color. It keeps me calm. Keeps me too calm sometimes. But peace, kindness, truth, inner peace, emotional depth, devotion. The violet stimulates intuition, imagination, universal flow, meditation, artistic qualities. Red increases physical energy, vitality, stamina, helps you stay grounded, stable. Orange stimulates creativity, productivity. Yellow increases your fun, your humor, your lightness, personal power, intellect, logic, and creativity.
One of the other favourite things we use to change all information is the principles for controlling reality. So let me just take you through that. Everything has a geometric form. So if you're having an argument with your close or dear family member, then there is a geometric form of that information. If you have a physical impairment, a health issue or a disease, then, for instance, say it's liver, you can ask to see in your imagination the geometric structure or form of the issues with your liver. And this is where you need to trust what you're seeing in your imagination, because that is showing you the true reality of what's happening. So once you get a sense of, or you may actually see the geometric form, then you give it an objective. And you say restoration, for example, we're working on our liver, restoration of my liver to the creator's norm, meaning bringing it back into harmony where there was no issues at all. Then notice what colour the geometric form is. In this case, it looks like a dirty brown here, tan. So we asked to change the color. And you'll notice that as soon as you start thinking, I change the color will change straight away in your imagination. In this case, it changed to a sort of purpley color. Now, I've already started changing the original information. It's gone from a dirty browny color, now it's a purpley color. So the original information is starting to be transformed. Next thing I'm going to do is actually change the shape, change the form. So I now change it to a sphere. And because I've changed it from the original shape to a sphere, I've actually altered the original information. It's not the same before. That means, as the example for the liver issue is now transforming. The next thing I do is I send a light impulse to it. And I do this from the area of my heart. A light impulse from my soul, which is silvery white, and a light impulse from the Creator, which is gold. And now that I've sent light to it, I've actually also changed the information again. The other thing I can do is I can shift where I'm seeing or sensing this image in my imagination. I can move it either left or right or up and down slightly. And in doing that, I've changed the information in the coordinate points of time and space. So I've changed the information. And then if you would like to remove that information out of your 5 meters of where you create, you can shrink this information right to a dot and take it right outside your 5 meters where there is a silver cube of the Creator, where you place it in there for further development from the Creator. And in this way, you have changed the original information. It's no longer the same. Now, in the same way that we did the previous explanation of the exercise of using sphere, notice while you're doing this concentration what you may be feeling in or around your physical body. And this is telling you that there is a transformation. Now, it may be that you just feel a warmth, or you might feel a tingling on your skin, or you may feel lighter. All of this is giving you feedback that it is actually happening. What then will change this back to what it was will be your doubt. And through practice, this is how you start to master how to use these technologies of Gregori Grabavoy.
That was just a little video to show you how we can heal with color. And I'll have these links at the end. I know they cover a lot of information in a very quick amount of time. But I will make those links available for you if you want. So the point of that healing exercise, that's really one of the most powerful healing exercises you can use. It combines color, it combines the geometry, the shape, and the frequency. It combines the right brain and the left brain working to heal. Do I have any questions or anything? Yeah.
So the tuning forks, would using a singing bowl or something like?
Okay, the question is, do singing bowls work the same way as tuning forks? Absolutely. I haven't seen the solfeggio frequencies available in singing bowls. That's the frequencies of the singing bowls are also healing for different things. I like the solfeggio, and I don't believe they're available in the singing bowls. I could be wrong. Somebody could correct me on that, to my knowledge. I want to talk a little bit about healing frequency devices. And this will lead you up to what I'm going to talk about. In the last video, she talked about Gregori Grabavoy, and we're going to talk about him a little bit more later. But let's talk about one of the first frequency devices. It's called the radionics machine. In the early 19th century, Albert Abrams opened a clinic in San Francisco and laid the foundations for what we now call radionics. Abrams claimed that he could detect energies or vibrations that are emitted from healthy and diseased tissues. In other words, he started cataloging the differences between healthy tissue and diseased tissue and according to the frequencies that they emitted. And he invented devices that could measure these energies and systematically interpret them as signs of health or disease. And furthermore, he came up with a machine that could broadcast frequencies that would correct disease conditions. We have these machines available to us now, the modern radiology machines. They look like this. And all these little knobs are used to dial in certain frequencies for specific conditions. So through the research of this man and others who've come past them, there are catalogs of the frequencies that are needed to heal certain conditions. And then the frequencies are broadcast in a manner similar to radio waves to the person who would receive them. Alternately, these machines are versatile enough to also broadcast homeopathic remedies, certain remedies that can be made for the individual. They're put on this plate and then sent to the individual through distance. So this is another way that we can do distance healing. A lot of people are unaware of this. And Raymond Royal Rife is one of my heroes. He, born in 1888, he was one of the greatest scientific geniuses of the 20th century. He began researching a cure for cancer in 1920. And by 1932, he had isolated the cancer virus, which is responsible for many of the cancers that we see today. It's caused by a certain virus. In 1934, he opened a clinic, successfully cured 16 of 16 cases within 3 months' time. He electronically destroyed the cancer virus in patients, allowing their own immune systems to restore health. His work was described in Science magazine, medical journals, and later the Smithsonian Institution's annual report. So with all this cancer research that is done today, the cures for cancer have already been established, and they were in the 30s. Rife's cure, and there's a really good book about him that I've read, and it's called The Cancer Cure That Worked. Knowing everything vibrated at his own frequency, Rife believed that if he could discover the vibrational frequencies at which disease-causing microorganisms vibrated, then he could bombard them with that frequency until they shook so hard they exploded. So essentially what he did was send in a resonant frequency that made the other frequencies explode. It got so high. It's the same way an opera singer shatters a wine glass with her voice. You can probably do that. Rife considered the disease cured when he could destroy microorganism 10 consecutive times using what he called the mortal oscillatory rate. So he did his research in his lab, and he destroyed different viruses, bacteria, 10 times, and then he decided that it was worthy of going on his list of frequencies. His surviving records show he found the mortal oscillatory rate for 24 microorganisms, including anthrax, cholera, tetanus, B. coli, influenza, spinal meningitis, tuberculosis, pneumonia, syphilis, gonorrhea, leprosy, streptococcus, conjunctivitis, bubonic plague, staphylococcus, diphtheria, and typhoid. And his work has been much continued, and you can actually buy these machines today. I had one, and it broke on me, so I'm in the market if anybody has another source. I'd like to talk about his microscope, because this is how when he was working with viruses and things, he had this special microscope that he invented. It was the most powerful optical microscope ever made up to that time. According to the report submitted to the Journal of the Franklin Institute, it had a magnification of 600,000 times and a resolution of 31,000, which is amazing. But one of the most attractive, and the feature that is unique to his microscope, is that the universal microscope does not kill the specimens under observation and affords observation of natural living specimens in all circumstances. So when we use any microscopes that we use today, the cells are dead in order for them to see them. They stain them, and he could see these things when they were alive. He could see how different viruses would react while looking under the microscope. So we know, based on science and these radionics and Rife machines, if you open your mind to believe them, because the question that might come to your mind, if the cure was cancer was discovered in the 30s, why are we going through what we're going through today? So I'll let you think about that. But the point is, it can be done. These things have been documented to heal with frequencies. So why not use our minds to broadcast these frequencies to people? Because our minds are the most powerful tools that we have. And I think we don't realize how powerful our minds are and how we create our own realities. But if we focus and concentrate, we can send these frequencies to people by thinking of them. And this brings me to my current hero, Grigory Grabovoi. He's a Russian, so his work is not well known in the United States. He's a doctor of physical and mathematical sciences. You might see why he attracts me too. He's an academian, the author of original works on the forecasting of future events, their control and correction. He's the author of the teachings about salvation and harmonious development. Some of you who came to my, some of you may be familiar with his work before. I suggested to many of you that you start looking at his concentration exercises and some of these beginning books, because it's focusing in the heart, but we can't just turn on a machine all the time and let it broadcast forever. When we're using our mind, we need to focus and we need to concentrate to some degree, and sometimes repetition is needed. My guru used to always say that she found that the big thing about most of her chelas were their minds were weak, and she says that about the whole world, actually. Most of us, unless we have spent some time in meditation and spent some time controlling our monkey minds, which most of us here have, we're not able to focus. ADHD is a big thing. We're not able to focus for any amount of time. And so that's what we're leading up to, is we're going to do work with some of these numbers and do some focusing as a group. I've been studying him for quite some time, and Grabovoi has books. So far, I have 7 books of his advanced books. These are approximately 300-page books, and they're full of nothing but numbers. There's numbers for every medical diagnosis. The restoration of the human concentration organism through concentration is cataloged by diagnosis for disease with the medical system. The restoration of matter of human beings by concentration on number sequences. There's 2 full books that are cataloged by body parts. So if you're having trouble with a particular body part, then you might find the number in that book. And there's 2 whole books of those, because he goes into quite the detail. It's amazing what the time he has spent in the lab. And how did he come up with these numbers? He came up with them. Grabovoi is very intuitive, and he's very science oriented, and he has a balanced right-left brain. And so he has come up with them intuitively and verified them in the laboratory by the radionics machine, primarily by using that. That's one reason I wanted you to see that it's not just abstract magic that we're going to be doing here in a few minutes when we heal the world of corona. All right. And one thing that he a lot of people find out, he said he's resurrected people from the dead. And, you know, that's one thing that you might want to be a little skeptical about. But then, of course, there was Jesus. And what did Jesus do? Resurrected, we know he resurrected Lazarus and he resurrected himself. And what else did Jesus say? He said, those things that I do, you will do also.
Even greater.
And even greater, yes. So, you know, maybe it is within the realm of possibility that people have been resurrected on this planet. But what Grabavoy says, and there's a very simple truth to be always remembered. A man is born for joy, happiness, and for living a full, productive, infinite life. Because we are immortal. Our souls are immortal. Our physical bodies may not last forever, but perhaps they could last longer than they have been. You know, very many people are living into their hundreds now, and they're living happy, productive lives. So why not have that as one of your goals? Think of the time it would save. It would save learn how to walk again, learn how to spell again. So how do these work? These work like tuning forks. Concentration on a correctly selected sequence of numbers results in adjustment of the organism to the norm by tuning its frequency, its vibrational structure to the correct frequency. So we've seen how that can work in the pictures. And this is the same way musical tools are tuned based on sounding a tuning fork. So think about it. Somebody comes in to tune your piano, or if you tune your guitar, you use a tuning fork. And by your ear, you can adjust them, and then the noise becomes much more pleasant when things are in tune. Our organs work much better when they're in tune. I think, well, this might be a good time to take 5 minutes. Probably everybody needs to, and then we'll take some questions when we come back. Take 10 minutes. And we're back. So does anybody have any burning questions? This would be a good time for it, but you might need to unmute. Or
The chat box.
I know there's a chat,
There's a chat. If you
but I don't see it. I don't see the chat.
Orange at the bottom.
click on the chat,
It's not there.
it's on mine.
It's not on mine. Okay, so if anybody has a question, unmute and ask it. One question I had was, how do you use a tuning fork to heal certain parts of your body? And the answer, part of the answer is that there's a couple of basic types of tuning forks. There are tuning forks that you use in your etheric body around you, and there are weighted tuning forks, which have a little weight on the end, which you use directly on the body because the body frequencies is lower than the etheric body, the physical body. So in other words, I don't know if can you see this? Yeah.
If it's close to your face, it's just the color.
It's the this is the type of tuning fork that you use in your field. And these weighted tuning forks are the kinds that you use directly on the body. The weight reduces the frequency. Yeah, I see some of you have them there. It reduces your frequency because your body is more dense, and therefore the frequency needs to be lower to make an effect. Not that the ones that you use on the etheric body don't affect the physical body, because they do. We've seen that any patterns of anything that's going on in the body is also in the etheric. And sometimes working with the etheric is a better way to deal with that. Any other questions?
How do you do it on your body?
Well, you just hold it on your body.
But you strike it and then.
Well, yeah, you have to strike it first, and then just place it on your body. Yeah.
And the other one.
And especially when you're using it on your body, if you put it on the bone nearest wherever you're working with, the bone carries the vibration better.
Is this something I see?
Yes. Uh-huh. The information that I've given you about tuning forks is something that I'm a registered practitioner with Soma Energetics, which I do energy healing in this way. And so the information that I've given you is from that, my studies with Soma.
The one that you use in the field, and you do it like counterclockwise or any way? Or
You can do it. The ones that you use in the field, you can use, follow your intuition. Just go around the body. And when you're using them in the field, if you're kinesthetic and used to feeling them, if you can feel a person's field, then the tuning fork will drag as you scan the body with it in places where the energy is not moving, or the tone will change. Okay, let's go back. Okay, unmuted. All right, next I want to talk about briefly, the science of numerology has a little bit to do with what the energy that these numbers carry, because each number itself has a special frequency. Each number contains a key information code, which stands for spiritual condition or process. And this comes from, like I said, the study of numerology. Ones are beginning, two's effect or action, 3 gets to results, completion, fulfillment, 4, interaction, connection with the outside world, 5 is interaction, connection with the inner world, 6 is the base of light, 7, the power of love, 8, time, 9, we associate with the number of the creator, and 0 is a transformation of all towards the creator's norm. So one thing I want to stress is how important our thoughts are. And it can be difficult not to have negative thoughts during this time, but remember that these thoughts stay with you, because every thought creates your present reality and your future. Negative thoughts need to be cleaned out because they stay near your body and affect your future reality. So the vibration of your thoughts hang on to you. And then we're going to talk about co-creating and how to clean these thoughts and some of the things that we can do. First, we want to consider how we're going to do it. And we're going to do all of this with the creator. Okay? We're going to create, co-create, resolve, change, everything that we do from the level of the creator. And this is the highest level, of course, that we can create from, is by joining with the creator first. And at the creator level, there's information. There's coded information in all the energy around us that comes through these frequencies and waves, which end up being numbers. And then light comes from us, and we want that divine light, which is, it's a little bit different from sunlight. Sunlight is useful too. Our consciousness and where our conscious minds are plays a big part. And then the energy behind it, the energy, emotional energy behind it. The more passionate you are about something, the more energy that will carry. And then your mind has to be clean, the mental activity. And then we come down to the chemical, and lastly, the physical. So the first thing we want to do is center and connect to the creator. And this is the most important thing we can ever do. What we want to do is be centered and connected all the time, 24/7. Yes, that's a pretty big request for all of us, I think. But especially when we do what we're about to do, which is heal the world with the coronavirus, we want to take a little time to connect with the creator first. And lo and behold, there are numbers for that too. So just one of the ways to work with these numbers is to just say them out loud.
1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 5, 0. 2,
But mute your speakers if you're doing it now. We'll do it as a group. And just see how these numbers feel. See if you can feel the vibration of these numbers. Let's start with 1, 2, 3. And I like to do everything at least 3 times. And that's just one way we're going to work with the numbers. Okay, so let's say them together. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 5, 0, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 5, 0, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 5, 0, 2, 5. Okay, let's go to the next one. 1, 1, 9, 8, 1. 1, 1, 9, 8, 1. 1, 1, 9, 8, 1. The last. 1, 2, 3, 7, 0, 7, 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, 7, 0, 7, 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, 7, 0, 7, 4, 4. Is your body starting to buzz? Because mine is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Feel that?
Yes.
That's amazing. And it's so easy.
I always wanted to have the creator on speed dial.
now you know the phone number, right? So we can still, do our meditations and but it's another new avenue for us to explore. So we're connected to the Creator. Now, the first thing that will be helpful for us is to transform negative thoughts. I know, personally, I don't fear what's going on, but what I do is feel the fear of the rest of the world coming at me in a way that's I've not experienced ever. And so dealing with that too, not only our own fears, but the fears of other people. And one way that we can do this, to take this whole situation and transform any negative thoughts, any negative projections, is to completely transform negative thoughts. And this is a great number to use. Let's say if there's some kind of a disagreement or disharmony going on. It's also a great number for that. To get rid of the negativity and prevent development of future problems, and to find the positive out of it, to be able to see the positive. Because for most of us, I think it's pretty hard to see the positive right now. And it's always helpful then to, when you use these numbers, to combine them with your imagination. Because when you're combining your imagination with the numbers, you're coming at it from the full balanced left brain, right brain approach. So envision a silver white sphere and put it in front of you, about a foot or larger in diameter. Okay, silver white, and picture inside it 1-888-948. So take the numbers and put them in the sphere. 1-888-948. 8-8-8-4-8. 1-888-948. And begin to feel also in your body. See if you feel anything. Do you feel any relief or any joy, or have any aha moments? your world instantly begins to change as you change your past thoughts. I'm going to show you another little video now that, because Grabavoy is big on using your imagination with these numbers, and spheres and cubes, using geometry with them, because they are, the sacred geometry is the basis for all life. If not for the sacred geometry, we would not have the patterns for life. So let's look at this with me.
Generally tend to work in a hologram of ourselves because every part of us exists on many levels. And if you've been a practitioner like I have and you're listening today, it's sometimes easy to see yourself like the client. And this is why you'll get feedback in your physical body, because we actually affect on many different levels. So in front of us, we imagine a silvery sphere, a silvery white sphere, with the number code for transforming of negative into positive. So this can be your negative thoughts that existing around your 5 meter sphere of where you create. And the number series for that is 18884948. Now, firstly, I can say the number and repeat it 3 times, but I can also look at this number series and notice which particular number or numbers seem to be jumping at me the most. I hold my concentration on that number or numbers until they're shining all the same. At the same time that I'm focused on the number codes, I'm also thinking of my objective, my desired event, my result, my aim. And that's for transforming all information that's around me from negative to positive. Now, the minimum amount of time you hold your concentration is for 2 minutes. So when we go through this, and you can practice this for yourself, see the sphere in front of you, a silvery white sphere, see the number code inside of it, and notice which numbers are actually shining brightly more than others. Focus on them until they're all the same. And at the same time, be aware of what you may be feeling in or around your physical body, because this is telling you that transformation is taking place when you're doing this. So have fun practicing this. We like to use spheres. They are complete parcels of information. One of the number codes that we're using at the moment for what we call macro rescue. This is for the harmonization of the planet and all humanity, to bring them back into the norm, and we certainly do need this number code at the moment. And this is one of our favourite, 3198173318. And the numbers are said singly, they're not bunched together, because every number code and every numbers in this series helps to harmonize the distortions of information in the outside world. So if you can imagine that you have a line in your external reality where it seems to be like zigzagged or out of harmony, this goes to the coordinate point in the area around us that helps to harmonize that information. And when we talk about that, it's not just us, it's also affecting all of humanity. And in this particular objective, our control is for humanity and the planet, for a rescue that we develop in a harmonious way. One of the other favourite things we do.
And now everything is possible.
So Marcia, with that coronavirus, it's a good thing to do, right, for that macro rescue?
Oh, absolutely. Wishbee, if you make a note of that, there's a lot of these videos available on that channel. 519-7148. Everything is possible. So you got that. So it is possible that those of us gathered here today can heal the world of this fear and this virus. So the next one is specifically for liberation from fear. And I want to mention here too that if anyone wants the notes that I have to this, send me an email, and I'll be happy to send them to you. Or I could just send out the numbers. And to remember that we're doing this here at Unity of the Triangle, and so your donations are appreciated. So you can go through my website and donate. $25 is suggested. You can donate. The way my website is set up, you can only donate in certain radius, but donations are definitely appreciated, but not required. I know financial worries are another thing that people are faced with. Those of us who are fortunate enough to have any money in the market have seen it go down considerably. Not to mention people can't go to work. And so let's think about all the fears that we want to be liberated from. The financial worries, not only the virus, but the effects of it to the economy. And so if you set your intention before you start these little videos, then of what you want to be liberated from, and then we'll begin to do the next one. I am in spirit and see and act as the Creator sees and acts. And this is about rescue and harmonious development. So visualize your goal. Mentally, I imagine how fear is minimized and turns into security and safety in all aspects. And read the numbers one by one as they appear on the screen. Please read them in silence. So you can see the number there. It's 489-712-81948. And the more you do with these numbers, the better they are. I put them on a spreadsheet, put them around the house. You can, I use some of these numbers when I having dental issues. I put them in the, by my toothbrush and by the refrigerator and in the car. You can sleep on them at night, put them on your pillow and get the frequency of the numbers under your pillow. And this is a good time probably as any to mention what my friend Patricia told me about the work of Jean Logan. She works with glyphs and their frequencies through drawings, and there are many through drawings, but they're pretty amazing. So look her up. I don't have a slide or anything on her, but Jean Logan and her glyphs, work with glyphs, is another excellent tool. And thank you, Patricia, for bringing that to my attention.
YouTube.
She has YouTube videos as well.
Okay, I have a chat question that you could answer.
I don't see chat, but sure.
Okay, how many times do you repeat the sequences? Says Cheryl Jackson.
It's really, Cheryl Jackson had the question is how many times do we repeat these sequences? And it's really an individual thing. It depending on what you're working with, I would repeat them 2 or 3 times a day. I've had some of my clients are using these numbers, and that's typically seems to be what they do is 2 or 3 times a day. And you don't have to do it for a long time. I'd say, you know, they on some of the videos I've seen talk about doing it for 20 seconds or 30 seconds. It's but it helps to have them around you, to have the numbers around you. You don't have to do them as often. And it always helps to use your imagination with them, play with them. Janine and I sometimes will sit in color and, you know, draw in the numbers in 3D and color them with get your pens and crayons out and color them and really get them into your aura, into your frequency, into your consciousness. I hope that helps. Okay. All right, let's go then to the next one. Actually, I'm going to skip this, and if we have time, we'll come back. We have time, we'll come back and do some more, but I want to now get to the one that's specifically for the coronavirus.
Coronavirus attention. We suggest that all subscribers write these 2 sequences released by Gregory Grabovoi on January 24th, 2020, and spread them around their houses. Stick on doors and windows, always visualizing the planet and its inhabitants wrapped in the divine light with great peace and health. 4, 9, 8, 6, 4, 8, 9, and 5, 4, 8, 7, 4, 8, 9, 7, 8. Collective piloting for all inhabitants of planet Earth. At this moment, I open my soul, see and act as the creator. In this situation, I can transform any event that is outside the norm. Global salvation and harmonious development. May all people who go through the same problem be healed, be prosperous, happy and healthy, and have lots of love. I apologize to our Mother Earth for all the harm I have been causing her, damaging the climate, the soil, and the natural laws. I urge to the Creator to send the golden healing light to the whole organism of all people who have already contracted the virus. With that light, the Creator cleans, regenerates, and brings back the norm of health. I also ask to guard all the inhabitants of this planet, strengthen our immune system, build a protective shield around everyone, and above all, that this virus will soon be totally eradicated from the planet. I visualize a sphere of silvery white light, and I include the earth and all its inhabitants in it. I see them treated, at harmony, and grateful to the Creator for the healing that has already begun. In this sphere, I also insert the sequences that I transform into energy. Creator presence. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 5, 0, 2, 5. Coronavirus. 4, 9, 8, 6, 4, 8, 9, 5, 4, 8, 7, 4, 8, 9, 7, 8. Local and global catastrophe prevention. 9, 7, 1, 3, 9, 1, 8, 1, 7. Protection against all negative impacts. 7, 1, 9, 3, 1. Protection shield. 8, 1, 4, 4, 1, 8, 7, 1, 9. Harmonize the planet and its inhabitants. 1, 9, 7, 2, 5, 1, 8, 1. Divine protection. 8, 8, 8, 8. Inside this sphere, I place the infinity symbol and pronounce this command. Absolute norm of health for me and for all beings in the universe. I irradiate with my light, which comes out of the third eye, and with the light of the Creator. I send the sphere and the flow of the Creator to infinity. Gratitude.
Next, I want to go into one that's a little more general, but it's for self-healing. I enter into the light of my soul. My intention is to restore and regenerate my entire body. I see and act as the Creator sees and acts. Global salvation and harmonious development. Visualize your goal as already achieved. My goal is to regenerate, restore, and normalize my whole body to its perfect state. Focus. Take a deep breath and visualize the healing energy flowing through all the cells of your body. The next sequence is for auto regeneration of the body organism. I think it has frozen. So I'll send you the video links if you would like to have them. I have lots more. These I think are, these I pulled from Gregory Gravois books on normalizing mental and psychological aspects. He also has 2 volumes of numbers for things like all kinds of things. But I see the evidence of his hysteria and the mass hysteria being the prime one. So let's just say those 2 numbers together 3 times and visualize the numbers in your mind as we say them to normalize hysteria. So these are my primary bibliography is the work of Gravois for this particular one. And I want to talk about what we're going to do next month. And if some of you have already picked up on the fact that the countries that this virus started in were countries that have implemented already 5G. So we want to talk about that next month, protection from harmful EMF frequencies. Talk about what does your cell phone do? What is the 5G going to do to the planet? Is it associated with the coronavirus? Is it not? Those kinds of things and what you can do. We'll talk about principles like orgonite, if you haven't heard of them, and different kinds of, we'll look at all kinds of different ways to protect ourselves from this everyday EMF radiation that's coming at us. As always, would like to end this webinar with a prayer of thanksgiving, gratitude. Enter with me into your tiny sacred chamber inside your heart, where you know and feel your direct connection to the divine. Beloved Mother, Father God, we are created in your image and likeness, and for that we are truly grateful. We are grateful for your love, grateful for those beings of light who have joined us here, including but not limited to our beloved Jesus the Christ, beloved Mother Mary, Saint Germain, beloved Archangel Raphael, beloved Michael and Faith, Chamiel and Charity, Jophiel and Christine, Zachiel and Holy Amethyst, Gabriel and Hope, beloved Kuan Yin and Gautama Buddha, all great beings of light. We are thankful for your assistance. Continue to look over us, overshadow us, and guide us. We are especially grateful for your love and your willingness to always be there for us. And we pray and ask for your blessing, and we give our gratitude to all of you and to all those light workers and light beings who are here and who are around the planet, for those doctors, nurses, all the medical personnel and scientists who are working tirelessly to assist us during this time of great challenge. We call for a blessing and to know our wholeness for all of us who are suffering in any way. We are grateful, grateful, grateful for your love, for our oneness, for this gift of life. And so it is. Amen.